Bring some festive cheer to the outside of your house now to decorate your garden this Christmas.
Yes, we have indeed, and we're delighted that, Paul, you're joining us again today, Paul Harvey. And we're going to start with window boxes first. And I suppose it takes minimal effort to make the outside of your house look as lovely as the inside.
Yeah, you're looking to brighten it up as you walk in, something when you come home in the evening, something just to cheer you up. So instead of a bunch of flowers or something, just doing up a window box, and it's going to last for about 2 months.
2 months?
Great.
That's pretty good
Well,
going.
it'll last even longer, yeah.
So you have two different sizes here, large and medium size, and I suppose depending on where you want to put it, on which window ledge and whereabouts outside the house, measure up it before you get into any garden centre.
Yeah, or you can do a square box or anything but I've just drawn the window boxes and I'm going to get you to work today.
Okay, great. Well, we've got our gloves here.
Okay, good
Talk us
stuff.
through what we're supposed to do in terms of the soil, and do we need to fertilise it, and what else?
Okay, so what I started off, I put soil in, so the bottom of it I put a bit of some stones for a bit of drainage, and then I put the soil in. And I've laid out the plants here for you to put them in that sort of...
You get the soil from your local friendly garden centre.
Exactly, and then in Windy Ridge you just get a bag of soil, pop it in, pop it up to this height, and then we're going to take out the pots. And so we look for a bit of height at the back, and then we look for stuff that'll trail down the front. So you're looking at the IVs and the things that we have in front.
Beautiful.
So we start with this fella then.
Yeah, and I'm going to judge you at the end and see how you get on.
So you take it out of the pot, right? I know it's a stupid question, but
take it out of the pot and then feel out the roots before you start. So just break up the roots nice and gently. Yeah.
So they'll start growing.
Yeah, you're not going to do
make
any
a little hole in.
Yeah, right in the centre now.
Something tells me you're not so green-fingered, Tommy.
Hey, every day's a school day, Laura.
I like the way that yours looks, Paul, but there is a bit of art to it, and there's a bit of symmetry as well. I've noticed the stuff they're asking us to put in.
Yeah, so it's good that there's two of you, because each one does one, and then you go back and
Talk us through what we're planting here now.
These are cyclamen. So cyclamen are super. These last year lasted right up until April.
Really?
Yeah, and they generally come back every year, but not quite as good in terms of flowers.
And how often, I mean, if they're outside, presumably they're getting all the water they need, but do you need to put anything else into the...
They don't need a huge amount of water, and especially at this time of the year. They don't like to be in too deep, so just plant them up a little bit higher.
Oh, okay,
so
sorry.
That's,
push the soil around them.
Yeah. So a little bit higher. The crones don't like to be too wet. So just keeping the soil moist is all that really needs to be done with that.
Can I run out of space here?
No, there's plenty of room. We'll sneak in there. Like, there's no problem.
You can kind of cram them in there a bit.
Yeah, there's no problem. Nice and full, we want the box.
This is going to be as elegant as your work.
Are you leaving a bit at the front, or are we supposed to put those in at the front as well?
No, they're to go in the front.
Oh, are they? Okay.
We want a nice full window box for Christmas.
Oh, wow, okay. And in terms of prices, I mean, the little plants are probably
they're
quite
very
reasonable.
cheap. So the cyclamen are about €2 each. The skimmy are a little more expensive, about €4, and then the ivies are about €4 as well for the large big ones.
This is quite therapeutic, isn't it?
So really, for a large window box, the one that we're doing now, it would be equivalent to a price of a large bouquet of flowers. If you're going to spend 60, 70 euro.
And like I say, that's going to last up until about March, April, all depending on the weather.
With all this stuff is you don't want it dying in the first week of January. And
No, it won't. They're really hardy, all this stuff. And a lot of this stuff will go out afterwards. Your skimmy can go back into your garden afterwards.
So in, say, March, April time, when all of the flowers have fallen off, you can actually cut them down and plant them?
Yeah, well, with the cyclamen, I would just throw out, but the likes of the skimmy or the holly, they can go into your garden, no problem.
Lovely.
what do you think?
Well, we're not finished. We've
One
one more
last
left.
one.
I just say I've done most of the work here, Paul.
Oh, no, come on.
That's
You
not
both
fair.
shared the work.
That's brilliant. I love that. I thought that was really nice. Now, to be fair, you did, plan everything for us.
Arrange it for us.
No, but look, it's beautiful.
Looks well, doesn't
A
it?
bit of soil or a bit of stones on the top would finish that off nicely. And literally, maybe water once every 2 weeks at this time of the year. No more than that.
So we have our berries there, our festive
spring
look.
with that.
This is quite fresh, all white, again, a winter theme. But we do want to move on to this. I don't want to run out of time for showing people at home these brilliant outdoor lights. Talk us through what we have here.
Okay, so we've the bay trees here. So really popular at Christmas time. Lovely scent off them, and then there's different heights. So you're looking at about €90, €49, and about €29, and then all different nice pots. It's always nice to plant in threes at your
This
front
is for
door.
your front door. You want to have the lights to give it a Christmassy feel. These are clever little fellas, these, aren't they?
Yeah. Do you want to start putting them on? Do you want to grab a... Laura, do you want to grab a set?
Is there a method to this? Or
No, literally throw them on how you would like, exactly.
So these are outdoor lights, so they're waterproof, and they have a timer.
Yeah, so you turn that on.
Yeah.
So you turn it on at 5 o'clock, lasts for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Goes off for 18 hours and then comes back on the next day. Yeah.
So you
Hit the button.
Yep.
You don't
Away
need
they
to
go.
worry
And
about turning them
the
on or
batteries
off.
last for 30 days. So
Oh,
like you
pretty.
don't have to worry about plugs or anything.
Where do you hide
There
the
you go.
battery pack?
Christmas
you
in a
can-
pot.
Exactly, yeah. Excellent.
That
Lovely.
looks really well.
So €29 for the small one.
Yeah.
And then going up. A lot of people like to get two for either side of their door. The
Exactly,
front
yeah.
door.
But you would generally get matching ones, and then we often finish them off with cyclamen at this time of the year.
Again, these have longevity as well, do they?
Oh yeah. Once you feed them in March.
Yeah.
Something like a bay tree should last 10 years in front of your pot. Once you kept it water.
A tree that doesn't last that long. We want to get back over here because you've got a
Yeah.
good few tips for
Christmas
the
trees, yeah.
fundamental Christmas thing is the,
Yeah.
the tree itself. And just give us a few tips in terms of how to manage it, how to prune it and fit it into your house.
Yeah, so what I've done is I brought
big
3
question.
Christmas trees in. So there is different types of Christmas trees. We started off with the Nobilis fir, which is the stronger smelling one, slightly stronger branches so that there's a bit more gaps in them, so there's a bit more room for decorations.
Lovely colour.
Yeah, exactly. Really dark blue, which is lovely, and the smell of that is lovely. Then we've got a Nordman beside you here.
Would
Taryn.
that be traditionally what people would go for?
The
or
Nobilis would
the
be,
Nobilis?
but the Nordman are probably more popular now because the shape is always better on
Oh, I
them.
like the Nordman, yeah.
Nice and shiny.
It's really
Yeah.
dark green, and this is one just more unusual, very compact. It's a Korean fir.
And the little cones.
Yeah, so it's slightly different, something that you wouldn't
Very
see in
cool.
everywhere. So in Windy Ridge, we have a couple of extra ones.
Okay.
In terms of looking after it, making
Yeah.
sure, how do you get the long life out? How do you get it?
Okay.
You want to put it in this weekend?
Yeah, so if we're putting it in this weekend, what I would do is when you in the garden centre, so just take a sliver off the bottom.
Yeah.
If you can get a bowl and put a water, especially if you've heating in your house,
Yeah.
so that will really dry it out.
Yeah.
Add a bit of sugar or 7-Up, and that'll bring out the scent, and that will give it a bit of food.
Into your holder, a lot of holders have a sort of a bowl in them.
Yeah,
Put it
but
in
these
there.
are great. The bowls can come with these, and they have a rubber seal on them, so you can put them in. They're very easy.
Will
One
your
last
friendly
thing.
local garden centre take the bottom off for you, or do you need to get the
Yeah,
saw
no,
and
you
do
can take it
yourself?
off, or just open it up slightly.
And
Right.
in terms of keeping the longevity of the tree and the scent that you want over
The
Christmas.
scent, okay, so the Nobilis are obviously the strongest smelling, but if you go for a Nordman or anything, we've got some cones here which are super. So have a scent of them.
Smell of them.
So yeah, a gorgeous sort of cinnamon, sort of Christmassy
Lovely.
smell, and it smells like a fir. And you put
Gorgeous.
a couple of drops, put them under the bottom of the tree, and you're going
And
to
again,
get
if you
that
have an
smell.
artificial tree,
Yeah, exactly.
Bung a
So you
few
can
of
see,
these
and the
there.
artificial, some of them are so good now. You put them under, and people walk into the room, and you want that smell
Yeah,
when you
you
walk
do,
in.
the
That's
festive
like that is
smell.
that's
So that
you
is
know
Christmas.
Christmas is on.
Thanks so much. You've
No
taught
worries.
us a lot
bag.
today, Paul. Really
Great stuff,
appreciate
yeah.
that.